Myanmar's military says the third and final round of its elections will be on the 25th of January. The army is preparing for the vote 5 years after it ousted the last elected government, triggering a civil war. The first round of balloting will begin this Sunday. The second is due to take place 2 weeks later. The military claims the polls are a return to democracy, though many critics fear it will be a sham election. The United Nations has criticized the ruling junta for a sweeping crackdown on dissent in the lead-up to the poll. The military is facing widespread calls from the international community to ensure this election is free, fair and inclusive. CNA senior correspondent Leong explains how the polls will take place amid ongoing violence, what's at stake and what the future may hold for the country.
Myanmar's upcoming elections will be held in 3 phases. December 28, January 11 and the third phase 2 weeks later. The staggered schedule reflects the country's continuing instability, with conflict and violence still raging in several regions of the country. Myanmar has 330 townships, but the military says only 274 are safe enough to hold elections. Of these, 102 will vote in Phase 1, 100 in Phase 2, and the rest in Phase 3. It's not unusual for parts of Myanmar to be excluded from elections. Even in past polls, fighting had prevented some areas from voting. But this is the first time that such a large number of townships are being left out, and the first time polls are rolled out in phases. The number of political parties has also dropped sharply. In 2020, there were nearly 100 registered parties. This time round, there are about 60. Only 6 will contest nationwide. The rest will focus on specific states or regions. So how did Myanmar's elections reach this point? For one, the military rewrote electoral laws, a move widely seen to weaken opponents. Political parties need a minimum number of members, officers and funds across the country to contest nationally. The voting system has also been tweaked in ways critics say could favor the military-backed Union Solidarity Development Party or USDP. But beyond questions of fairness, there's a bigger issue, and that's the legitimacy of the polls.
Even if only 1% were to cast a ballot, the junta would shamelessly use it as a claim to legitimacy. So that's why our message, therefore, is very not simply a call to boycotts. It is also a call to refuse complicity in the military's attempt to entrench its power through the stage performance.
ASEAN has urged the military to ensure polls are free, fair and inclusive. As a bloc, it will not send an official observer mission out of concerns that doing so could legitimize the vote. Individual ASEAN members, however, may still send observers on a bilateral basis. Countries like China, India and Russia have said they'll send observers. Closer to home, Cambodia and Thailand have indicated they're open to sending observers.
But the international community does not have much confidence, so it has to do all it can to overcome that. I think having observers come and see for themselves and being on the ground is therefore very important. Not only for the elections, but for its international standing.
ASEAN still views its 5-point consensus with Army Chief Min Aung Hlaing as the key to resolving the Myanmar crisis. But the junta has largely ignored it, insisting that holding elections is the way forward. A view that's not widely shared among those outside of Myanmar.
Elections might be part of the problem instead of being part of the solution.
Despite criticisms, the junta remains determined to go ahead with the elections and is widely expected to win.
The way everything is set up, the number of parties, the parties who are, let's say, inclined towards the regime, and the absence of the old previous opposition parties, party in power, I think you could say that is quite valid, that is foolproof.
ASEAN, however, is holding firm. Myanmar's military leaders will remain barred from ASEAN summits and foreign ministers' meetings, and Myanmar will not assume ASEAN chairmanship until the bloc decides otherwise. Leong, CNA.